So this Saturday we have a great fight between Devin Haney and Vasyl Lomachenko. Here's my prediction for this phenomenal matchup. Now, this is a very tough fight to call, and it can play out many different ways. I see Haney using the jab early, keeping Loma at range. Loma will try to get on the inside and land a few nice shots early on. However, Haney will be racking up points early and using his jab and keeping the fight at a distance. Loma will, as I said, have success, but I feel Haney will have the more consistent work and the better work rate. And as the fight plays out throughout the middle rounds, I see it being pretty competitive, back and forth, both fighters having varying success, and it being a really competitive and very, very even fight and very high-skilled fight. This is going to be a matchup where when the fans are watching, they're going to realize they're watching a fight between two class fighters, two very high-level and high-quality fighters. What I see happening, I see Loma coming on very strong in the last few rounds, dominating the final few. Haney on his bicycle. Haney just trying to survive because he's comfortable with how he performed in the fight, and he believes he's done enough for a decision. Loma will outwork Haney. He'll go for the stoppage, but won't really have Haney in too much trouble. After 12 rounds, a very interesting, very fascinating fight. I see the fight going to the score totals. After 12 rounds, I see it being a majority decision victory for Devin Haney. I'm picking Devin Haney to defeat Vasyl Lomachenko by a majority decision win in a competitive, potentially controversial fight. I'm not going to say this fight will end up being controversial, but do not be surprised if it is a fight where people are saying Loma got robbed or Loma should have won, and people saying that Haney deserved the win and it was the right call. Expect there to be some debate on who deserved the victory, but expect it to be a very competitive fight. 6 rounds to 6, 7 rounds to 5 either way. Maybe a little wider for Haney, maybe 8 rounds to 4 for Haney. This is such a good fight, though. Really tough fight to predict. I'm edging out Devin Haney. I'll say this. A couple years ago, I would have picked Vasyl Lomachenko to win this fight, but after the Teofimo Lopez fight, and even after the Lopez fight, I still would have picked him to beat Haney, but the way he looked against Jermaine Ortiz, I know he had ring rust, and I know Ortiz was better than advertised, but even with all those factors, I believe his time is up when it comes to being a pound-for-pound level fighter. He's still a very good fighter. He's going to give Devin a very tough fight. He's going to push him to the limit, but he's going to lose, in my opinion. Haney's going to throw that jab. He's going to keep Loma at bay. He's going to outwork Loma for a lot of the fight. Loma will outwork him in the later rounds and will make the fight very competitive in the middle rounds, and I see Loma landing the crisper, harder shots. However, boxing is scored on a round-per-round system, and Haney will likely win a couple more rounds than Lomachenko. It'll be a majority decision in my opinion because I believe Loma will make the fight very competitive and very close. But Haney will nick it. He'll do just enough to get a competitive but deserved win in a very good fight. Now, some keys to victories for this matchup. I've gone over it in previous videos. I made a video saying why Loma defeats Devin Haney, and I made a video saying why Devin Haney defeats Vasyl Lomachenko. I feel the strengths for both fighters. I feel both fighters are very good at adapting in the fight as the fight plays on. However, I feel Loma is a little better at doing so, and that's why I expect him to dominate the last couple rounds. I also believe Loma has a better gas tank and a better engine, which is why I believe he'll dominate the last couple rounds. I feel Haney has a very good jab. He has a lot of length, and he has a lot of size, which will keep Loma at range. Not at bay, because I don't see Loma necessarily respecting Haney's power, but I see him respecting Haney's speed, his fundamentals, and his accuracy, and it'll be very difficult for Loma to get within range early on. Eventually, I do see Loma getting within range, but Haney does have something to offer him on the inside. He's not going to let Loma just dominate him and dog-walk him. He's going to fight back, and he's going to have enough resistance to where Loma doesn't take over and get him out of there. Don't forget, Vasyl Lomachenko is getting up there in age. I believe he's 34, maybe 35 now. And keep in mind, Vasyl Lomachenko is a fighter who relies a lot on reflexes and natural speed and ability. Obviously, he has great fundamentals, but when you're a fighter who fights like Loma, who's very reliant on reflexes and subtle movements and subtle motions, age is definitely a factor. I'll tell you this, age is much more of a factor for Vasyl Lomachenko than it would be for a Gennady Golovkin, a Deontay Wilder, an Artur Beterbiev, someone who relies more on their power and brute strength. When you're like Loma and you rely a lot on your speed and your quickness and even your resilience to an extent, age is very important, and he's getting up there in age. Devin Haney is hitting his prime, getting closer to his prime, and that's another factor for Haney. One thing that is against Haney is the weight. I feel Devin Haney's having a lot of issues making 135. I've felt this since 2020. I've noticed even against Gamboa, he looked like the weight was kind of getting to him a little bit. Now, Haney looked phenomenal against George Kambosos. I know he has Victor Conte on his team, and Victor Conte does a great job with fighters who are having issues cutting weight. Those fighters always look great on fight night under him, and that's definitely been able to help him. However, it doesn't change the fact that he is weight drained and having a lot of trouble making weight. I know he looked phenomenal in the Kambosos rematch. I believe that was the most complete performance of Haney's career. But that doesn't change the fact that more time has passed since that fight, and he's gotten bigger and grown even more since then, and it's going to be very tough for him to make weight, and I believe that is another factor to why Haney's going to definitely lose the later rounds of this fight and gas out a bit in the last 2, 3, maybe even 4 rounds, which is why Loma will be able to tighten the fight up and make it much closer. There's so many factors favoring both fighters. Loma has much more experience, even in the pros. I know Haney has more pro fights, but opposition is important. Vasyl Lomachenko, win, lose, or draw, without doubt, has fought better competition than Haney in the pros, as well as way more opposition in the amateurs. He has more experience, but that also means he has more wear and tear. See, this is what makes the fight so fascinating. Both fighters have so many factors in their favor and so many factors against their favor, as well as both being extremely talented, extremely smart, extremely fundamentally sound fighters. I can't wait for this one. This is a fight I've been wanting to see for a bit. I'm glad we're actually getting it. I'm having so much fun predicting this fight. This is one of the few fights where I've genuinely been looking forward to. I looked forward to Tank versus Ryan, and I've looked forward to other big fights in the past, but this is one of the few where I'm genuinely excited for. I'm a fan of both fighters. I enjoy both fighters. I know a lot of people call Devin Haney boring, and yes, he has had his boring performances in the past, but I do like Devin Haney a lot. I've always been a big Lomachenko fan. The winner of this fight, without doubt, is on the pound-for-pound list. I don't care what you think about these fighters. The winner of this fight is 100% top 10 pound for pound. You can put them at number 10 if you want, but they definitely have to make that spot because the winner will be an undisputed champion at the weight class with a huge victory. There's no denying that the winner of this fight will be on the pound for pound list. I'm just trying to figure out a little more key to victories that both fighters have. There were points in the fight where when Kambosos fought George, when Haney fought George, both times out, where if George was more elite and was a better fighter, he would have been able to counter Haney and make him pay. I do believe Loma will be able to do that, especially in the middle and later rounds. I don't think he'll be able to hurt Haney badly or drop him, but he will be able to maybe buzz Haney and stun Haney. Haney cannot get reckless. He cannot get lazy at the jab. He needs to stay on his toes, and he needs to stay vigilant at all times, because if anyone's going to capitalize on a mistake, if anyone's going to exploit a chink in your armor, it's a guy like Vasyl Lomachenko. I believe we're going to get the best version of both fighters, at least the best version of Devin Haney. A prime Loma I would pick to beat Devin. This is not an excuse ahead of the fight, but I do believe a prime Loma would defeat Devin Haney. I still think this version of Loma is a very live dog in the fight, but my gut feeling, it's actually gone back and forth, but I'm narrowly favoring Devin. I trust picking him a little more. This is not a fight I would bet on if you're a betting man, because this is such a tough call. The odds are not great in either way. I don't bet, so it doesn't matter to me, but I know a lot of my viewers do, so don't take any of my advice for this fight. Honestly, I don't really see either fighter getting the knockout here. If Vasyl Lomachenko beats Devin, I think he's going to outwork him and dig deep and maybe drop him a couple times to a tough decision. If Devin Haney defeats Vasyl Lomachenko, I definitely see it being on points. This is a fight where I definitely see it going the full 12 rounds. I see it being both fighters digging deep late, both fighters having a lot of success. There's a good chance that both fighters will have a lot of bruises. I actually expect Devin Haney to have a lot of bruises and swelling and cuts in this fight because he's going to take a lot of shots upstairs. Loma might have some bruises as well. He cuts very easily. It's going to be a great matchup. I see this fight delivering. My final prediction, Devin Haney by a majority decision victory. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell me your prediction. If you can properly predict this fight in the comment section, I'll pin your comment for this video and give you a personalized shout out in my post-fight review. The only way you can be eligible for a comment shout out in my post-fight review and your comment to be pinned for this video is if you tell me the exact round you're picking fighter in your prediction. So comment your prediction below. Whoever's the closest to getting it right will get their comment pinned for this video and a personalized shout out in my post-fight review. If you're picking either fighter to win this fight on points, tell me if it's unanimous, split, or majority. And if you're picking either fighter to win this fight by KO, tell me the exact round you're picking. Anyways, that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it if you made it all the way. Have a good one. Tell me your thoughts down below. God bless. I'll see you guys later. Peace.